That's okay.
downtown.
I was on a call that ran over, so I thought maybe, you know how if I'm on my Zoom link, then you can't start the next call. So it could be
Yeah.
that people were trying to get on and couldn't get on.
Yeah, I saw a text from Astrid, but
Yeah,
so she's not going to make it at all.
she is not. It might just be us,
Oh,
art loving women.
how exciting.
I love the photograph of the piece that you posted. That was,
Oh, thank
how did
you.
you photograph that so
I
well?
just used my iPhone. I,
Really?
and what I've discovered with my iPhone, I tried to take another photo of the one that I'm going to work on next. And I don't know how to correct this, but my iPhone does not capture blues like it should. It's not showing me the true color when
Yeah.
I take a photo.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how to alter that.
Well, it's
So I just
probably
got lucky.
something to do with the lighting, right? Like you need to
Yeah.
have the lighting boost or this or that, or I don't know.
Yeah, I turned on all the inside lights and then tried it. So it was okay. I brought it home to hang up, so I just wanted to look at it for a little while and see if I like it hanging at the house. I don't know if I'm going to be able to enter it into the art show in the spring because it's not actually a framed work. I don't know if they have
What juried show is that?
it's going to be the Docent Art Show, and it's at the Oregon Society of Artists. Last year, it was virtual, but this year I think they're going to do both virtual and in person. So, but they're really specific. Like they have to be hung like strung so that they all hang at the exact same level because they have a system in place. So I don't know. I'd be disappointed if I couldn't show it, but I'll come up
Have
with
you
something.
shown in that forum before? You said Portland Society of Artists?
It's the Oregon Society of Artists.
Okay.
They teamed up with the Portland Art Museum Docent Council.
Okay.
And so a couple of our newer docents are board members of the OSA. So that's useful. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I hung the blue ones, the little blue squares, big blue squares. I don't know. Last year. I just feel like it looks a lot better in person than it does online.
Yeah. Are there enough galleries that have juried shows type of things? I mean, my mom does a lot of, she's always putting her work into a juried competition and, that like, local community colleges or galleries and stuff that'll have those types of shows. She usually gets one or two a year into a show.
Yeah. Since I joined the Docent Council like 6 years ago, I just kind of operated through them because it's easy and I don't have to put in any extra effort, which is terrible. But, when I think about 6 years ago in the art world in Portland as compared to now, it's like a different landscape. I have no idea what it's going to look like when everything is reopened again. Right. I don't know what galleries will have survived. I mean, the big ones probably are fine because they're owned by people that have a shit ton of money.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of thinking, I'm making this little plan in the back of my head that once everything opens up, hopefully by then I'll have a body of work of at least 6 that I'm comfortable with. And then I'll just see if I can't shop them around. And if anybody's interested, that's fine. And if they're not, then I'll just keep using the OSA and the Docent Council as a venue.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's really, it's always been really hard for me to share my work in a public forum because it's so personal. And even more so now. So we'll see. I did landscapes for a long time, and I was thinking about Peter had, when he went and cleaned out his office, I forgot that he had a landscape that I'd done for him years and years ago of this place called Simpson Gap somewhere in the Outback. And I just did it from a photograph that he had. And I realized in doing that, and then I looked at the other one that I found in the attic when we cleaned out the attic, I gravitate towards the same colors all the time. It's like really, really brilliant blues and oranges. And that's perfect for Australia. I mean, the
Right.
sky is super blue and the ground is super orange.
Right. Right. Were those watercolors or what medium were you working in?
They were mixed. They were acrylic paint, and I found that if I take chalk pastels and I rub those chalk pastels into the acrylic paint when I'm working, it makes the colors super brilliant. It really bumps up the saturation level. So that worked really well with those. So it was just those three. And there was another one that I did of a place in Maui that I went to many years ago called Red Sand Beach, which was a nudist beach. There aren't any people on it. It's just the beach itself. It's like, you guys are ruining my landscape.
You just edited them out?
What?
You just edited them out?
Well, I did have one photo from a long time ago, before digital photography, that I managed to get that didn't have any fat naked people in it. So that was good.
Have you done any stuff in like Utah then, if you're talking about blues and oranges, or Arizona?
I haven't yet. They've either been that photo in Hawaii, so the Red Sand Beach, there's 2 Australias, and then there's one that I did of a photograph again that I took somewhere in Central Oregon. I think it's near Warm Springs, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember. It was kind of like it was an experiment with color, and it's okay. It's my least favorite of all of them. But again, these colors keep popping up. So that was very interesting.
I was just complimenting Dana had posted a photo of a piece of her work, and I thought the photograph was really well done. It's not always easy to photograph her work.
No, especially if it has shiny in it.
Yeah.
And that gold is the most satisfying gold to work with. It's so shiny. I love it.
Yeah.
That's that giant jar that I bought that I showed you guys like back in April or May that I'm still working with. Every time I go into the studio, I shake it up. It's a big, huge thing of that brilliant gold paint from Lumiere.
Right. I do remember that now that you say that.
I was worried about them during the fires that were in Sonoma this past season, because I mean, it was in Healdsburg, which was right there near Calistoga, where all those fires are up in wine country. And I was like, my God, please don't let their factory burn to the ground. Then I won't be able to get my gold paint anymore. It was a rather selfish thought.
Yeah, I never think of paint being manufactured. I mean, I guess it has to be manufactured somewhere, but.
Yeah, you don't think about, especially like what she's using. It's not Sherwin-Williams. So,
yeah.
Where do they? So there's special places that make paint for artists.
Yeah.
Does Sherwin-Williams dabble into that at all?
In what?
Do like big paint companies dabble into that? Like, sure.
You know, I've never seen that before. I have used actually latex paint before to make art with. There's something about the quality of it. I mean, it's basically acrylic paint because it's made with plastic. But yeah, it just is different. It goes on different. But this company, Lumiere, makes really, really cool iridescent paints. And I mean, I would love to tour their factory. If I'm ever down there, I just love it.
And how did you know where their factory was? Just from the label, or you had like it's a well-known thing?
Well, I'd been sourcing smaller containers of paint, like, tubs this big. And I realized that if I was going to continue doing these kind of things that I'd started doing, I was going to need more. I couldn't find enough in the Portland area. So they had their website on the back of one of their labels. So I went to their website, and then I saw in 4 tiny little letters that meant everything to me. And that was BULK. So if you could buy it in bulk, and they hand mixed it for me. I sent them an order. I said, this is what I need. And they said, it'll take us a week to mix this paint for you. I was like, wow.
Oh, so that's cool. Custom mixed paint.
With a bachelor.
It's a niche market. I'm sure they're making, just not just for you, but other artists out there that are looking for certain
Yeah.
colors?
There are a lot of people, I follow them on Instagram as well, Jacquard paints. People use them, they work really well on any kind of fabric. I mean, like this woman decorated these Converse tennis shoes. She painted them in all of these different iridescent colors, like looked like a peacock's tail. It was spectacular. So they're really, I think they're definitely niche paints. Not everybody wants to paint with super shiny shit.
And they're called Jacquard.
It's, yeah, Jacquard paints.
Okay.
So you say niche, I say niche. What, I could just be a Sibilia, like our, where I grew up kind of thing. How do you say it, Laurel?
Niche.
Niche.
Yeah.
Maybe I've been saying it wrong all these years. It's very possible.
Niche. I mean, I think I would know what you meant if you said that,
Yeah.
but I think I would pronounce it niche.
Dawn, I'd speak one more word and then I'll switch because I have a lot of verbal tongue twisters. My mind gets screwed up. But we used to say, let's see if I could do this right now, or in an incorrect way. We used to say documentary. Documentary.
Right.
For some reason, I feel like I
Documentary.
put the Q in front of the U because
Right.
there's got to be a Q. There's a U there instead of saying documentary.
Right.
Documentary.
Documentary.
I think it's
Documentary.
like
I can't imagine people saying it that way too.
So regional accents or regional pronunciations are so interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because
there's that New York Times quiz that was popular 10 years ago where do you say soda or pop or do you say this, and it would tell you where you're from. Did you
Mhm.
do that? I got from Rockford, Illinois, which is pretty close to where I'm from. And my kids got from San Diego, California, having grown up in an expat environment overseas. Isn't that funny?
They're like, okay, you must, that is funny.
I remember taking that quiz, being really curious about it, and I cannot remember what my answer was, but it was not anything that I would have expected. I mean, because I don't have a Southern accent unless I go home and turn it on at the grocery store. So nobody will see me. I'll be invisible.
Yeah, but some of it is like things like soda or pop. Like if you see Coca-Cola, what would you call it? A soda or a pop?
A Coke.
Is like or a Coke or whatever. Is like, what do you call your midday meal?
Yeah. Oh God. Right. Supper and dinner. That's very,
that kind of thing.
Yes, that is true. Lunch, supper.
That's a class thing, I believe. That's an old, like, Southern Eastern class thing that comes from England.
When I worked in Detroit for one of the automotive companies, I used to get tons of grief from a couple of guys that were from the East Coast because I would ask them if they want a pop, and they're like, "What is this pop? Soda pop?" It's like, you should say soda. I'm like, well, it's soda pop. I'm just not saying a soda.
Yeah, true.
He used to give me grief all the time.
My childhood in Atlanta with my grandfather was definitely, you just ask for a Coke.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta's the home of Coca-Cola. It's not Coca-Cola, it's Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, yeah.
It's so funny.
Have you seen the movie Yesterday, the Beatles thing, where the guy comes back? And
I saw it on a plane, so I don't have a super great memory of it. Yeah, but it was a very sweet movie.
In many ways, but one of them was their Coca-Cola no longer existed. So he would ask for Coke, and his parents were like, "What? Pepsi?" Like, okay, so he's on a plane somewhere. He's like, now he's a rock star, and he's like VIP with all these people. And somebody brings a whiskey to somebody. He's like, can I have some Coke? And the stewardess is like, he's like, I'm sorry, Pepsi, because they were thinking cocaine.
Right. I need to watch that. I remember seeing it, but I don't know that I.
It's a very sweet movie. It's a very sweet movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cute.
I'll check that out. Good. And that is funny. Yeah. Pepsi sucks, by the way.
Is that because you have relatives in Atlanta?
Yeah. My grandfather lived in Atlanta. after he retired from the military. But I went to college in North Carolina, which is the home of Pepsi. And I remember we would do taste tests just for shits, And to me, Pepsi is so syrupy sweet. It doesn't have that same kind of snap that Coke does. I don't know. Maybe it's because Coke used to have Coke in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being a kid or maybe even in high school, like you'd go to like at a mall or something, it would be like, take the taste test. I don't even remember which side it did, but it was like dueling colas.
Yeah.
But
that was a big thing back in the 80s, all those commercials. I didn't have any of those growing up, though. We drank Faygo, which is a local product.
Which one?
What's it called?
Faygo, like Faygo.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
Faygo?
It's pretty much it's made in Michigan. I don't know where. I forget, maybe Detroit area, but it's probably just in that Midwest area.
Oh, so I bet it's like RC Cola, which is like a super mid-Atlantic Virginia thing.
Richmond. Yeah, I think Faygo is better than RC Cola, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of like that.
No, I don't like RC Cola. I think RC Cola tastes like flat Coke that somebody on second thought decided to shove some carbonation into. I don't know. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it is weird. And Faygo wasn't trying to compete with Coke and Pepsi and the Coca-Cola. They just had all the different flavors, the grape, the orange, the cream sodas, the rock and roll, all that kind of stuff.
Did you guys have Fanta as well, or was it just Faygo?
Just Faygo.
Yeah, I did love Fanta. That was some syrupy, grapey goodness.
Mm.
And Verner's, which is also a Detroit product.
Is Verner's?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good ginger ale. They sell that here.
I can drink it better now than as a kid. I did not like that. It was like way too much.
It was too spicy.
Yeah, even we would have ice cream with it. You call those not root beer floats. What would you call those? Ginger and ice cream. I can't even think of it right now. There's some sort of float. Like that's just
a ginger beer and ice cream float.
Yeah,
that
like
sounds good.
But there's so much carbonation in Verner's. You would eat it and it would just be like, I mean, your eyes would start watering.
I think Verner's was
think of carbonization. I mean, seltzers are pretty carbonated, but it was so carbonized and so strong. Just like, I'm crying. I don't like it.
Yeah. When I went to Indonesia, Fanta was really big. And so it was called, I guess we call it the same thing. I'd never had Fanta, I don't think, growing up, but orange Fanta and the red Fanta. But there's all these Indonesia. Do you know red Fanta? They have
no. Is it cherry? What is it?
I think it must be strawberry, but it's like you talk about it being super sweet. I mean, Fanta is nothing compared to strawberry Fanta, but there's something that's called ice soda that the translation would be ice soda that makes you happy. That's the name of the drink. And they put in sweetened condensed milk around the edge of the glass, and then they fill it up with red Fanta. I guess because probably they don't have ice cream, so sweetened condensed milk is in a lot of, and so you get this like milky, like super, like your teeth are about to fall out of your mouth. It's so sweet, and you smile and like all your teeth are red.
I was overseas. Where's Fanta made at?
It's a Coke product because my kids have been to the Fanta factory in Jacquard. I think that one of their classmates must have had, a parent that was like an executive in the Coca-Cola. And so they got to go tour the Fanta factory, which I unfortunately didn't get to go along on, but my sister was visiting, and so she got to go as like the chaperone, and she was like, I have never seen so much sugar in my life. She was like, you can't even imagine. She's like, corn, like think of silos that we would store grain in. That's how much sugar is going in. Like they had these huge things to make this, to make the volume of soft drinks. And I'm pretty sure she went to the strawberry Fanta part of the factory.
You know what's crazy about sugar that people don't even think about is like it's even higher up there than tobacco. I mean,
in terms of how addictive it is, yeah.
Yes, I mean, and it's so fucking bad for you. The just that refined sugar and that they use. But yeah, I like to rank that right up there with cigarettes. and heroin.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I'd watched this 60 Minutes thing years ago, and I haven't done a very good job of cutting my sugar out. I've been aware of it and tried to, because it is highly addictive. And they had all these different things that they were talking about, how it's bad for your health, all that kind of stuff. But they had this guy get into an MRI machine, and he's like, "We're going to give you a sip of," I'll say a Big Gulp. It wasn't a Big Gulp, but one of those sugary drinks right from there. And so they show his brain, and it's, that normal pattern, just kind of light blue or bluish. And so he basically takes a sip, and within five seconds, his brain starts going orange and all those different colors.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
And so the guy that's doing this, he's like, "This is the same thing that I see when someone that I'm treating for cocaine."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, it lights up the same areas. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, a different kind of addictiveness. And
It's that reward area in your brain where your brain is just like, yes, give me
Yes.
more. And I don't give a shit if you're fat or worried about calories. Just suck that stuff down.
I'm going to go get a pop right now. You just made me want. I mean, a soda, sorry.
Do you still have pops in your refrigerator, Chris?
No.
We have ginger beer, and Peter likes ginger beer when he's doing his treatment because it settles his stomach.
Right. I was going to say we generally have probably not ginger beer, but ginger ale around our
Yeah,
house.
ginger ale and ginger beer. And then the boys really like ginger beer too. And as I said, it mixes really well with vodka, especially pear vodka.
Yes.
And it's quite
And we do
delicious.
have
The
ginger
pear
ale.
vodka.
I usually don't drink sugar drinks anymore. And the other day, my Charlie was over and watching a game, and so I didn't want to have. He was having a beer, and I'm like, "I'm just gonna have a ginger beer." And I mean, I drank half that bottle, and I thought, "Man, I'm gonna go through the roof."
Yeah.
It's not like I don't eat sugar. I mean, I do eat sugar, but to have that liquid version, it was just like I could feel my heart rate, everything just
Yeah.
like it was weird.
Yeah. I stopped drinking like Cokes and sodas. I mean, I still have a ginger ale, but about 2 years ago, because my triglycerides were so fucking high. And I realized that if I'm going to drink wine, I need to get all of my sugar intake from wine.
Yep.
Everything else is not worth
It's
it.
almost shocking when I was on a call the other day with somebody and they had a Dr. Pepper in their hand and they were drinking it while we were on the call. And I was like, "Wait, you're drinking a Dr. Pepper?" Like, it was so shocking to see somebody drinking a full sugar. Like
Not
a
a
diet Dr. Pepper,
So-
I can imagine, but like a real Dr. Pepper? Yikes.
Yeah, I tend to drink the fake stuff when I drink it, and I do like Dr. Pepper. Now that you mention it.
I haven't had one of those in like 40 years.
Diet Dr. Pepper I have, but not a.
I
Right.
can't drink diet drinks. They give me headaches. I don't think I've had a diet drink on purpose since maybe college. It's a
Wow.
long
Oh, I had one on the plane on the way out here. You sometimes get on the plane and you're like, "Ooh, I get a free soft drink. What am I going to get?"
Exactly.
Like, I get excited about it still. Like, I'm 8 years old.
Hey, everybody still likes free stuff.
I know. Which one should I pick?
God, that seems like so long ago, getting on a plane. Wow. You're the only person that I think that I know of that's actually flown anywhere recently.
And Dawn,
And Dawn.
And- True. Gosh,
2 of
guys.
us. Yep.
Brave.
Yep.
What was it like on your flight? Who did you fly and how?
I
how
flew
was it?
a United direct flight, and it was probably about a third full, and it wasn't super early in the morning, but it was snow. So I think that when you go on and you book your seat, of course you're trying to everybody's trying to book away from one another. And I actually saw when I went in the night before that fewer people were booked on the flight. So I think maybe because of the snow and the airlines are so flexible right now with rescheduling your flights that people rescheduled. But I had no trouble keeping away from people in the airport, and everybody was like super masked up, and I had on a face shield when I first went in, which by the time I got on the plane, I was like, I think this is a little bit overkill. But it was fine. I was in my own row, and I would say not even all rows had one person in them. So
Do You remember how, I mean, that extra seat in the middle that's empty is the most prized possession on a flight, especially a cross country or overseas flight.
Yeah.
I mean, you just wait and you're watching every face come down the aisle. Are you next to me? Are you going to sit next to me? And you're kind of like hexing everybody as a no,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
We fly Southwest a lot, and it was one of those, because the middle seats, you get Dawn and I would get on early, and we would take like the aisle in the window or whatever, try to, and then just look for someone who was normal size.
Yeah. Be like, you want to sit
Would you
here?
like to sit here?
Yeah, we would do the same thing too. Always book a window in an aisle and roll the dice for that empty middle seat.
Yeah.
Well, Southwest is where you line up and then people get on the plane, right?
Yes.
I like that too. But you're right.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a crapshoot if you get on early. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to get on at the end if you're by yourself.
Dawn, she didn't, I think we've mentioned it before, her flight was like a quarter full, and the same thing as Laurel, was hardly anybody on her.
Yeah.
And we know someone who, I haven't seen him because of COVID and everything, but she's talked to his wife, and he's flown a lot for work, and he's like, especially during the winter right now, it's like there's nobody on there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's flying to Arizona, I think. So I think that's what
Wow.
their headquarters is at. But yeah, it'll be interesting after this is over, if people like go crazy and start flying everywhere, or is it like kind of like not,
Yeah, I don't know. Is it going to be more like flip a switch, or is it going to be this gradual return to? I think it's going to be more gradual.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, you're going to lose some, like Ashley would say, and I mean, all these companies have figured out what we're doing here, and this is a huge cost savings for them.
Right.
So I mean, it's probably easier to sell your product face to face than like over the computer, but maybe more people get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of the companies, their bottom line. Like, is it really worth that
and
$1,000 trip or whatever it is?
Yeah,
for
and
people to go.
that's good for the environment in some ways.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Really true. It is. And I was watching. I've been watching real estate prices just because we don't have anything else to do. I'm just fascinated by places small town, especially Boise. Boise keeps coming up. That so many people from California are heading that way and are heading to smaller mountain towns.
Because they can work remotely and have a good quality of life. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just find that really interesting. I mean, that people are relocating like that. That's going to definitely play into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really hard in some of those states.
Yeah.
For the people that live in that area. We were in Montana whenever that was in September. I can't even think of the town right now. And like a condo was going for $600,000. I'm like, that's ridiculous, because people were from California were moving there.
Right. They're like, how cheap is this?
Yeah. Well, that's what happened to us.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, it started, I remember really worrying for my kids and for young people, how are they going to be able to pay for an apartment?
Yeah.
And it's just nuts.
I think Bend is even worse as far as the price, because it's a more similar climate to those like California.
Yeah. And Bend has always been kind of fancy. I mean, in a way, but it was affordable for a little while.
Yeah, I remember when we first moved here, we looked at it and thought about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. But you're right; it's not good for people in small towns to have their lifestyle change like that overnight. Really,
you can always move back to the Midwest.
I bet a lot of people are going to do that.
It's all about the weather, I think, if you want to live there or not.
Well, true. Looking at the weather right now, I would really rather not live in the Midwest because that polar vortex is huge.
I know. I was talking to my sister. Well, Dawn might have the same thing. Or my daughter said it was -6 when I was talking to her last night in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cold.
I guess you just don't go out.
You don't go out.
You do.
Yeah.
You just figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, you figure it out or you die.
Exactly.
You freeze to death. Okay. Well, speaking of outdoors, I'm ready to go for a walk. So
I just finished mine.
You
Let's not
did?
do it today. Let's just finish here and we don't need to do a meditation.
Okay.